Pixel 5 is the first phone in some time to have a metal back. The industry switched to glass to enable better signal transmission and wireless charging. The metal wraps around the sides for an all-in-one body that's also a rarity today, and we'd expect this design to be far more resilient to damage, whether it's wear and tear or more serious drops. The metal itself has a matte-like finish that makes it feel a bit more like polycarbonate than the typical aluminum frames. Its texture feels interesting but not exactly appealing. Though one thing is for sure, it allowed us to get a more solid grip on the phone. This is important because, as previously mentioned, this phone feels small, despite having a 6-inch display. The all-in-one metal body and minimal bezel mean the phone feels more compact, and at 8mm thick, it's also one of the thinner phones on the market. Not every aspect of the small format is perfectly designed. The metal lock button and volume rocker on the right side of the phone barely protrude from the body of the phone and have more resistance than you'd expect, making them a bit tough to press. This is a change from the large and protruding plastic buttons on the Pixel 4 and Google Pixel 4a, as well as the 4a 5G, which are far easier to manipulate. It's an odd but noteworthy criticism. These days, we rarely complain about but Full HD plus 2340 by 1080 display is a sharp and bright screen, with minimal bezels and a punch hole to house the front-facing camera. That means a far better screen-to-body ratio than the Pixel 4, which had a solid black bar at the top of its display, but since that bar held the various sensors, including the solely depth sensor that enabled features like in-air gesture control, it's a bittersweet advantage to have more screen real estate here. The display retains the 90Hz refresh rate that Google rolled out with the Pixel 4, and it's similarly smooth here. While it drains battery at a faster rate to keep it on, you can switch to 60Hz in settings. The effect is worth it when you're browsing the internet or your app library without the stuttering you'll experience on 60Hz and lower screens. The Google Pixel 5 packs a pair of rear cameras, and you'd be fun for thinking that the same as the cameras on the Pixel 4. As the new phone inherits the old handset's glass-covered camera block, it does have the same 12.2MP main shooter. But the Pixel 5 swaps out its predecessor's 2x optical telephoto lens for a 1.6MP ultra-wide lens. While the ultra-wide lens means the Pixel 5 is left without decent zoom capabilities. We prefer having the option to squeeze more people, or more of a scene, into the frame. Though the 107-degree field of view isn't quite as wide as some of the 120-plus degree ultra-wide lenses on other phones. But, in comparison shots, the Pixel 4's 2x zoom camera didn't perform noticeably better than the digital zoom on the Pixel 5. Score another for the UTIP-X and performance. The Pixel 5 specs are one of several areas where Google has compromised, likely to save on cost. The Snapdragon 765G chipset is not as top-tier as the Snapdragon 865, powering 2020's leading Android phones, like the Samsung Galaxy S20 line or Snapdragon 865 Plus in the new OnePlus 8T. For instance, but it serves well enough. The processor is paired with 8GB of RAM, and the Pixel 5 breezes through tasks from browsing the web to gaming and playing media. We didn't experience any egregious slowdown, although after playing a few rounds of Call of Duty Mobile, we did see some animations hitch, not mid-game, thankfully. The benchmarks are another story. With a Geekbench 5 score of 1617, the Pixel 5 specs perform worse than the comparably priced Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition 2928, which is powered by a Snapdragon 865 chipset. This isn't exactly surprising, but it does indicate speed, and given the Google Pixel 4a 5G scored a roughly similar 1614. We have further support that the Google Pixel 5 doesn't perform much better than its cheaper counterpart. The Pixel 5 packs 128 GB of storage in its only configuration. And as with its predecessor, you can't expand this via microSD. It's frustrating, and it means that if you want more storage, you'll have to opt for a cloud solution. The Pixel 5 runs Android 11 out of the box, benefiting from new features including built-in screen recording, a conversations feature that collects all your messages from various apps in one